So, hey guys, you just heard a part of the original Godzilla theme song because today I'm going to be reviewing the new 2014 reboot of Godzilla. Not the 1998 Roland Emmerich disaster, but the recent 2014 reboot that just came out here. So, let's get going. So, in this new reboot, you guys, basically, what to be expected from a Godzilla film. Um, he has this radiation backstory. Kind of how he was hidden away from the people. Nobody really knew about this um, creature that was trying to be hidden away from people. People just thought it was a nuclear testing activity that was going on at the time, since nuclear bombs were big, and it was the 50s. It was just discovered. A war just concluded. People thought that these things were being tested and either getting rid of, or any of those kind of scenarios. People had no idea that there was this giant creature that was being hidden away from everybody. So for all these decades, Godzilla, the creature that was eventually named Godzilla, I should say, was hidden away. Nobody heard or saw the creature since the nuclear testing went on, or testing as they called it, which really was them hiding away this creature. Several years later, Bryan Cranston plays the scientist who does find out about this hiding of this monster, and that these weren't nuclear tests. These were these people trying to kill off this monster from preventing him from destroying land and things like that. And so the monster is now angry. It's been awakened. There has been a discovery of a fossilized creature of some kind in this mining area as well. And that, in a way, almost kind of disrupts the monster from its slumber once again, awakens it. And throughout the course of the film, we have to deal with these two monsters that awaken basically. And we kind of suffer the consequences of basically the truth being hidden away from people, and they have to find a way to kill off these two beasts. So yes, you have heard it here, and it's really not much of a spoiler, because if you look closely at the trailer, there's quite a bit of hinting, and not really giveaways, but like you know for a fact that there's something going on behind the scenes here that isn't just Godzilla. So I guess that's the best way to say it. I won't say who it is, what it is, but Godzilla does fight another monster in the movie. Once again, trailers do kind of show that in a way very, very briefly. You got to pay really close attention to the trailer, but it's in the trailer. So Godzilla, you guys, I really loved this reboot. I actually, I would go so far as to say, as I think if this Godzilla film doesn't convince you to track down other ones, some older films of this, I don't know what will, simply because this is a very welcoming reboot to Godzilla. I think it's a very Gareth Edwards, who directed the film, very much knows how to make this monster film big, epic, and well driven with characters and things of that nature. Just a very well done Godzilla film. So I guess let's just go right into the positives. I love the realistic vibe of this giant monster attack. You really get the impression that if this were a real event, it would kind of play out like this. It would be, reported on the news. People would be told where to hide out at, where to evacuate to. There would be, organizations from the church and organizations from community services that would offer, places for your children to hide, places for your grandparents who are in a nursing home to hide, and things like that. It just has a very realistic vibe of how people would kind of both freak out about a situation like this, and at the same time immediately think about their health and their lives, and find a way to evacuate such a tragic situation as what the Godzilla film plays out like. I like the human perspective feeling of this film. When people are down on the ground looking up at Godzilla as he's walking toward the city, you really get the impression that you're looking up at this giant, giant creature and that you're just a little tiny ant compared to him. And when it comes to size, and it has a very good feeling of perspective. Or like even when the characters are on top of a skyscraper looking at Godzilla walking in, it's still a very big creature. You still feel very small, but because you're higher up, it's already an immediate different perspective, like it would be in real life, looking at this creature walking in and things like that. Like I said, I just love that human perspective of the movie. There are some groundbreaking visual effects in this film. It just Godzilla alone feels like a real lizard. It doesn't even feel like they're using a CGI lizard in this. It really feels like we're watching this thing go down, and Gareth Edwards has the camera with him filming it in a very professional manner. And I just really like it. I really like the look of this film. It's just visual effects wise, I have no complaints. There wasn't a single moment during this film where I'm like, this looks too fake, or that looks too much like a Nintendo 64 game, like the Roland Emmerich film did back in '98. Just very, very groundbreaking visual effects. And if they do make a sequel, like what's been rumored here, um, I think if they keep this visual effect feeling, this visual effect level of high quality, it should be a great sequel. But like I said, I just love the visual effects of this film. There's some very effective drama in this film. Every time, basically the mood and the situation of these characters, you feel them. If it's a happy situation, you feel happy for them. If it's sad, you feel sad for them. If it's a scary situation, you feel scared with them. It's a very dramatically effective movie, I think. Elizabeth Olsen, who is Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen's younger sister in real life, for those who remember them from Full House. She has a very believable role in this film. She is the wife of Aaron Taylor Johnson in this. The wife of the main character who's in the military in this. Very believable role. She plays a nurse in a hospital. She's also the wife, the wife and mother of the wife of Aaron Taylor Johnson, and she's the mother to their child. And yeah, very very believable role. I felt that it very much felt like these two people were very madly in love. That she was very caring and concerned about her child when it came to this situation and things like that. So very believable role. This film is also very much a throwback to the original Godzilla. It definitely has a lot of messages about, people's fear of bombs, people's fear of these very big disasters that are going to happen, and if they do happen, kind of how they believe the truth has gone out, and that, once the truth is told, that there's this whole new level of perspective on things and things like that. So I just love that throwback feeling to the original Godzilla. Even the look of Godzilla looks like something from the 50s, much improved, done with CGI, but it has that look and feeling that that original Godzilla film had, and this monster that really represents people's fear of bombs and people's fear of disaster going to happen. And I also love the theme of the film about people's anticipation of fear. It's a slow burn effect kind of film, and I really like how it, like I said, the film has that throwback and feeling of people's anticipation of fear, and Godzilla is kind of the monster personification of that feeling for people. For the negatives of this film, I would have liked to have seen an after credit scene. I know that when they were filming this film, it was meant to be a standalone film, and that if a sequel were to get made, obviously, it would be made off of demand and off of financial success of the film. But I think an after credit scene would have been at least cool, just for a nice little hint, nice little throwback to the franchise of Godzilla. Maybe a hint toward King Ghidorah, or a hint toward Mecha Godzilla, or a hint toward Rodan, or monster from the Godzilla franchise that would be a very believable character to take on for a Godzilla film. No after credit scene. I was one of many people in the theater screening I went to that was really hoping for an after credit scene. Unfortunately, didn't happen. So, no need to stay after the credits. There's no after credit scene for the movie. I felt Bryan Cranston's character, he's known for Breaking Bad and Malcolm in the Middle. Um, I felt like his role, because he plays a scientist in the film, I felt his role should have been bigger. He's really not in the film for too long. And there was a lot of looking back at the film, I saw a lot of opportunities they could have used to keep him in the film longer. They could have kept everything they did with him, but there was something that happened with that, basically took him out of the screenplay right away. I saw several possibilities they could have gone down. They could have chose instead that would have allowed his character to be in the film longer, and unfortunately, they didn't go with any of those decisions. So, would have liked to have seen the actor in the film longer, just because I loved his character so much. And his character was pretty significant to the plot also. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, who plays the lead character, the lead military soldier of the film, um, his character felt a little too straightforward to me. I would have liked to have seen a character that had his own characteristics, kind of had his own set of rules. It just felt like the role was a little too straightforward for me, and I would have liked to have followed a character around who had a very unique personality, a very just a more unique vibe than the other characters we saw in the film. Because for me, really, he was basically just another man afraid of this giant monster like everybody else. So I would have preferred a character to follow around that had a much more unique personality and a much more unique vibe, like what Bryan Cranston's character had. The musical score in this film, it was very short, and it repeated certain segments of its score a lot. So it didn't feel like there was like this 10 to hour long score like what most films had. It felt like a very short score, and they just kept repeating that same small bit of whatever they recorded for the score. Kind of got my nerves after a while. I know it's a very minor nitpick. I know everybody else probably will not have that flaw with the movie. Maybe if you're a hardcore film fanatic like I am, you will. But the musical score wise, it felt a little bit short. It felt like they didn't record a lot for it. And on the scenes where there was a musical score heavy part, it was just basically a repeated version of that short little musical score segment that they made a musical score for, I should say. Um, Also, my last complaint with the film is there's a lot of convenient monster moments, meaning that because we're following Aaron Taylor Johnson around, because we're following around, this selective group of characters, even though this monster's attack affects everybody who, this monster goes through as far as cities go and everything. There was just a lot of convenient moments where I felt like they did just enough damage to like a certain part of the city just so that one major character can still live. And there was a lot more. It's like, okay, I felt like the monster stopped right there during that destruction just so that certain character could live. There was a lot of moments that felt like that to me. So um, just another minor complaint, but overall, this new Godzilla film is fantastic. I think a lot of people are really going to like it. If you love the older Godzilla films, you're going to have a blast watching this. I give the Godzilla 2014 reboot a 9 out of 10. I love this film. Hope to see a sequel. I'm definitely going to watch this film several more times when it reaches Blu-ray and DVD. If you love Godzilla, if you love disaster films or monster films, be sure to see this film. It's fantastic. Once again, 9 out of 10. I love this film.